Welcome or welcome back to my channel, you guys. It's been a little bit since I posted a video. Things have been kind of changing and crazy for life here. We've had a family tragedy and I've had surgery and things are nuts. So sorry for the length of time it's taken to get another video out, but today I'm working on some artist trading cards, or ATCs, with a coffee theme. I was in a swap and somebody already sent me mine, so I'm a little late getting mine out. So I'm going to do that today. The first thing we need to do for our trading card is cut our base paper down to 2.5 by 3.5. And always when I'm cutting, I like to cut the larger number first. So we'll cut the 3.5. And for your card base, you want to have a thick cardstock, or some people even use like a chipboard. You can use a lot of different things. You can use cardboard, whatever. The whole point is that it's an artist trading card, so it's art and you can do with it what you'd like. So we're going to cut this paper here at 3.5. If you're using an 8.5 by 11 size paper, you can usually get 9 cards cut out of them. So I just did the 3.5. Now we're going to cut the 2.5. Okay, so this is what our card base should look like. And you do get a little scrap left over here, at least from the size of paper that I'm using. So we're going to go ahead and cut these other ones real quick, and then we'll be good to go. See, is this long enough to get another one? It is. Perfect. I'm just using some scraps of some 110-pound cardstock that I have laying around, so trying to use every bit that I can, a little less waste. So again, the measurements are 3.5 by 2.5, and the reason that is an important measurement is because they fit in like the little pocket letter pages, like the baseball card trading cards, so that people who collect them can have a place to store them and just enjoy other people's works of art, which is really cool. Alright, so just out of a couple pieces of scrap, I was able to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 cards, so that's fun. That's really great. This is a coffee theme artist trading card, and so my idea for this is I really love these little craft pockets. They remind me of the Starbucks pastry bags that you get like banana nut bread or whatever in. And I use this Stampin' Up! Stamp of coffee beans and just stamp all over the bag using the Distress Walnut ink. Oops, there we go. And I think it looks super, super cute to put them in these bags. So I'm going to be making like, I think 3 of these cards, or maybe a few more, I don't know yet. But I think they'll be really cute and they fit nicely in this little pocket. You could just leave it like this, but and use them in, you know, your crafting, your scrapbook pages. This could be a journaling card or whatever. But today, since we're doing an artist trading card, we'll go ahead and continue to decorate the rest. So I'm going to use some Tim Holtz embossing folders to put some little coffee shapes on this. I'm also going to cut out some Tim Holtz freshly brewed coffee cups. I've already cut some of them out, and you'll see here. And then these come with pieces, so you can put a little sleeve on them, like so, like a little coffee mug sleeve. I think it goes that way. Maybe it goes this way. Guys, I'm telling you, the struggle is real after eye surgery trying to craft, but it really does put me back in my happy place, so Just keep crafting is what they always say, so that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so like you put them together like this, and then there's also a little top that makes the cup like this. Or you can use the little dome lid, like if you were to have a Frapp cup, which of course is my favorite. And there's a straw too. So let me go ahead and do these embossing, and I'll be right back. Excuse the mess on my die cutting station here, you guys, but I'm using these Tim Holtz embossing folders, and just thought I'd show you how I do that with my Embosser. So to do this embossing folder, you use your paper. Today I'm doing an artist trading card, so it's a 2.5 by 3.5 sized paper, and we're just going to put this in here. I like to make sure I look where the design starts and ends, and put my paper to line up to the side, just like so, because everywhere you see the little coffee designs, it's going to make that impression, and I kind of like mine to be straight, and less if I'm doing something that can be more abstract. So I just put in there like so, close it down. And then using the Embosser is just like using a lot of the other die cutters that are manual. So my instructions here say that we're going to put the paper in the embossing folder, and then we're going to sandwich it with A and C, and then we'll add D, and then we'll run it through. So I have A and C, and here's my embossing folder, and we're going to put it between A and C, this between A and C. And what's really cool about most of them is that they label your plates so that you can know which machine it's for and what letter you're using. And I believe this one is D, so now we've got it sandwiched. A, C, and D. Sorry for the view, I'm trying to hold everything over here at my cutting station. Okay, so this is what it looks like. You've got A, C, and D, and then that embossing folder is in there. My plate A is always a little wonky because that's the one that, like, when I'm actually using die cuts for, it uses it kind of like a cutting board. So now we're gonna put this whole stack in the Embosser, and it just goes like so. And I love how effortless this is. This is why I was so excited. No more cranking, no more anything. It just goes right through. You don't have to force it. Just catch it on the other side. And then, when it's all done, you open up your little embossing plate. And hopefully you guys can see that. It does make it raised on one side, so it's dry embossed. And then the other side, it's indented here. So raised on one side, indented on the other. Super cool and pretty effortless. I love it. So, okay, so that's dry embossing using an embossing folder with the Embosser. All right, so I finished my dry embossing, and I've gained a little buddy. Everybody who's seen my channel knows that we have Fanta, and he's here sitting in the chair. He loves to craft, or really likes to steal my stuff, but that's okay. Okay, so the dry embossing is all finished. It looks like this once it's all done here. I did the same thing on craft paper, and then I took some ink, and just white ink, and kind of brushed my finger across to make these stand out just a little bit. And then I took a marker, just a Marvy Le Plume 2 marker, and I'm not sure, I think it's color number 71, not totally sure. And then I just colored in these areas where the straws would be. And what I think is really fun to do is then use some Stickles. This one's Stardust. And color in the domes. I have to get really close, you guys, because my eyes are just not good. Okay, So here it comes. So we'll just color in these domes, and it kind of makes the dome look like it is like the acrylic would be if you purchased a Frapp, which I think is really fun. So we'll just keep going. I had a different plan with this card, but I think I'm just gonna decorate these ones and leave it just like this, and then I'm gonna make another card with a stamped image. The beauty of these artist trading cards is that they're just whatever you want them to be. I think when I made these before, I put a stripe of glitter down the stripe of the cup. So you can totally do that, or you can just leave it however you want. Also, I've done this embossing folder before, and I like to cut them out in little strips like this, and you can do the whitewash with the ink again, and then add your markering and stickles if you want. And this is just a super cute little embellishment, or if like a homemade ephemera piece that you could put on a scrapbook page or in a journal. Okay, so this one's already inked, and let's do the marker first. I like to do the marker first to color in the straw and the side of the cup, because then you can just put the glitter over the straw and it looks like it's really tucked in there, which is kind of fun. The reason I chose this color is because it's kind of a Starbucks looking color. You can use any color that you would want. You could decorate it kind of like a boba cup or something too. That would be cute. I know sometimes they use like really colorful straws, pink, blue, purple, that kind of thing. I'm totally a Starbucks girl, so we'll stick with the green. And hopefully the people I'm sending it to will like it as well. When you're swapping with someone in Washington, usually Starbucks is kind of the go-to. Okay, so the other cool thing to note is that the little dots here, let's see, here, are the perfect size for a mini brad. So I sometimes like to stick little mini brads in there. You'll see that if you've looked at some of my other videos when I made a coffee themed binder mail, was making embellishments. So that was really fun. Now the ink that I use to do the white dry wash is a Colorbox pigment ink. And I feel like pigment ink kind of does a dry wash a little better than a dye-based ink. So I think on these white cards, we're going to use a chalk ink pad. Sorry guys, had to get it. We're going to use a chalk ink pad. So Distress ink is like a thinner ink, and it's really good for the edges, and we'll go ahead and do that now. But I don't like to use it to whitewash on top of these embossed images. I feel like it just kind of soaks in a little more than what the look I'm going for. So we'll just ink the edges with it. Just stress it up a little bit. And then I'll try some of this chalk ink. What's cool if you're doing a swap and you're using some of these elements, you can just kind of do them assembly style, so assembly line style. You just do the same thing, so all of them, just do it multiple times. Now, when you're distressing, with Distress ink, it will sometimes smudge or whatever, and that's okay because that's totally the look I'm going for. If you don't like that, just be aware of like where you're setting it and whatnot. Or you could even try using a different ink like this. Versamagic chalk ink would work really nicely too. So I am a hands-on kind of girl. Just put my fingers in there, and then what I think is really fun is to just go over it. a little bit here. You just kind of rub it in, and it really helps to bring out the raised image. So you don't need a lot, like I'm just kind of rubbing it, kind of like an eyeshadow. And then just don't press too hard, just kind of lightly rub across. I just use the back and forth motion. All right, and so you can see, you can do this like, kind of like a, I guess what would be like a whitewash kind of a technique, just inking over your raised images, and it really does help the image to pop out a lot. So let's see if you can see it. Pretty good. So here's one that's done, and where did my other ones go? Oh yeah, okay. So here's one that's inked, and here's one that's not. And then again, on the craft color cardstock, the white really pops out a lot. Now we can try the brown ink on the craft cardstock too. Again, when I am doing the little whitewash, I do it on the raised side. You could probably try it on the other side too. Be whatever. You could also use a brush or a pad, like a little cotton pad or whatever, to do this if you're not one who likes to work with your fingers. You can do this again with any color of ink, any color of paper. I like to use black paper with white ink. That's really cool, especially with Halloween coming up. Those would be really fun. And you can just keep adding layers to get it as dark as you want. So I think that looks really cool with the brown ink on the craft cardstock. So it really makes it pop a little bit. I do another one. I'm doing, I have two people I'm swapping with, so I'm trying to make everything in twos, and the cards I'm making in threes, so then I can keep one for myself. This technique is really fun. It just adds that little bit of extra something. Without having to do a whole extra lot. Okay, so again, this piece here I got just from doing the dry embossing with an embossing folder on a piece of paper, and then I just took my scissors and cut out this little strip. And this is really fun. You can do it in a little bit bigger. The embossing card is like, I think, a 4x6, so you could actually keep going, make like a little strip and put it like a photo decoration, or you know, a piece like an ephemera piece on your pages. This ink just rubs right off with a baby wipe, so no worries there if we get a little dirty. Okay, so this one here, we're gonna set it to dry. This one here, I need to put the Stickles in. Again, I'm putting the Stickles in the little dome lids that would normally be kind of an acrylic. So it just gives it that little bit of a look, like it's plastic or something. And who doesn't like a little glitter? I love having glitter. All right. So now that one can sit to dry. Close this ink up before I get something. This little plastic thing that I just picked up is the cover on my ink. If they come with it, I like to keep that on there because I feel like it helps keep the ink pad just a little juicier, and I don't have to refill them as often, especially for these chalk inks. They can easily dry out. All right. Close everything up here. So I have these, I have those, and I did these ones. Whoops, I didn't ink these ones. All right, let's go back and do it now that I'm all cleaned up. That figures. So like I said, you could use a pad to do this with, or you could use like a little, one of the Distress ink little tools like this or whatever to brush over it. I personally like to use my fingers because I can feel the raised pieces of the embossed part, and that's the part I'm trying to draw the attention to and bring that image out. So I don't want to color the whole thing, but you totally could if that's what you want to do, if that's the look you're going for. You could also use chalk or paint to do this. But for me, it's just adding those little pops of color and trying to draw that image out. All right, so we've got 3 there, and that's what I was hoping for. And I've got the 3rd craft colored card here. And so this is what it looks like when it wasn't whitewashed. And then I'll go ahead and use this white pigment ink and pop those images out. So again, this is just a white color box pigment ink. It looks like this. And same thing, just gonna brush it over. You can see that first spot that I touched, it really gets a lot of ink there, so just be really aware that it does that. And I just kind of use it like a little palette and just kind of spread it around. So again, putting some on my finger and then just kind of lightly brushing across. And it's okay if you get it on other parts of the card, because I mean it's just supposed to be like a little whitewash like you would do on brick or something. All right. And then this one, I think the edges I'm going to use that. Again, this pigment ink just wipes right off. No worries. I think I'm going to try chalking the edge with this Versamagic chalk ink, and we'll see how that goes. To the edge of this one. So just adds a little definition to the edges of your card there. All right, so I'm gonna find some mini brads, and then we'll put some in the centers of the other cup, not the hot cup, and we'll see how that goes. I'll be right back. Okay, so the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add some mini brads, like I was talking about, to the center of these hot cups. So you can use any brads you want to. You could actually even do little rhinestones or sticky enamel dots. I really like Queen & Company's sprinkles, as I feel like they're just a perfect size. So I've gathered some of those, and I'm just going to use a piercing tool. This is by We Are Memory Keepers. You can simply use a thumbtack or a needle, or you could use a hole punch, whatever works for you. I also just have like a little piece of coaster. You can use like a little piece of mouse pad or something just to press into. So we'll start with these ones that aren't glittered up yet. And you simply just poke the hole in the center, like so. And we're gonna put these little brads right in there. And then fold these back. And then I like to just give it a good press on here as well. So there you go, you can see it's kind of like the little circle of the cup. I think it's really cute. Nice added textural piece too. So when you're poking with these, just be really careful. It will still poke through the material, so you don't want to poke your fingers. I've done that a million times. You can do these all the same brad. You can do a solid brad. You can do whatever, but I really like these ones from Queen & Company. They have cute little designs on them. Some green, if you just did like a solid green, that would be really cute for like a Starbucks-esque cup. You could do a shaped brad as well, like if you're a pumpkin spice lover. I personally am not. I'm allergic to everything cinnamon, so fall is a little difficult these days, but I get through. Anyways, you could do like a little tiny pumpkin or a little leaf, whatever, to do the fall season. For Christmas, you could whitewash these cups in red. You do like a little holly leaf or something like that. So this one, I'm just kind of using a variety of colors here, just because I want it to be kind of fun. You can use all the same colors. You could do it in a pattern. Like I said, you could use shaped brads, just whatever you want to make it your own. And I feel like since we kind of glammed up the cold cups, it gives these hot cups a little something too. And that one is not really in center. But it still works totally good. That's what I like about these, especially right now. Kind of using one eye, as I just had eye surgery, so they're being kind and a little bit forgiving, which is greatly appreciated. All right. If you don't have a punch too, I suppose you could just push it through. The brads are a little sharper on the end, so you probably could just push it right through the paper. All right, so there's that look. I really think it's cute. It kind of helps that little sleeve of the cup kind of pop just a little bit. And as I was saying earlier, when you use the embossing folders, it does do a 4x6 card, so you could have more in the strip. I just did the 2.5 by 3.5 size because that's what these ATCs are. But it does add 2 extra, so if you wanted like a little more of a border for your page or embellishment, whatever you're using, you can totally do that too. All right, so these ones that are done. Not totally sure that this glitter is dry, but we're gonna poke some holes and put some brads in here. And you can poke all the holes at once if you want. Then you're not picking up and setting down, picking up and setting down. Okay. You can also use this back side of this tool to flatten out the brads if you want to. Like, that's what this is for. You can flatten them down, but I don't really feel like that's necessary for these brads. They work really, really good. Oh, see, I just smudged that glitter. that's totally all right. We will fill it back in when I'm all done here. Okay, so some of these sprinkles or brads, they call them sprinkles, which I think is super cute, have a little pattern on them, and some of them are solid. Queen & Company always does some really great textures. And this isn't sponsored, so that's just me. I love Queen & Company. Okay, let's see, so this one has a little bit of a white pattern on it. And this one is just solid color. Again, we'll just flip these back and try and make them as flat as you can. I have a variety of them out here. I just kind of dumped them out. Some of them have patterns, some of them don't. I don't know if my partner that I'm swapping this with likes pumpkin spice or not, but we'll just go with it. Like I said, I am not a pumpkin spice fan. Everything that has cinnamon is bad for my allergy. So, just put this in here. And you can totally do these if you're someone who likes symmetry. You could do them all with the same style of brad if you want. That's totally cool. All right, what do I have left here? Looks like two patterned ones. All right, so I think that looks really cute. I think I'm gonna call this one finished once I touch back up that glitter. Maybe get some of this extra glitter off of here. So this will be one of my trading cards, and I'm just gonna send it like that, but it'll go inside of this little sleeve, which I think is super cute. So now I also have the some of the stamps by Tim Holtz. This is the cling stamps, and I've got some extra plain cards, and I think I'm just gonna stamp. I'm gonna stamp a couple of these images on here and ink the edges and include those too. So go ahead and do that. How many cards do I have here? These stamps are super cute. If you haven't used them before, I absolutely love them. So this is what it looks like. And you can put it on your clear stamping block if you want to. I'm just gonna ink it up and go for it. Press it on there just because I'm only doing 3 of them, so I'm not gonna dig out the black. I am going to use some pigmented ink though, because we're gonna use this Color Box white pigmented ink because I'm going to emboss. Actually, no, I take that back. I'm gonna use, yeah, we'll use this white one. I'm going to wet emboss, so we're just gonna get this all good and inked up. And with wet embossing, you want to use a thicker ink than dye-based ink so that the embossing powder has something to stick to. And this one got a little carried away here, so I'm just gonna rub around the edges to make sure we don't get a lot of extra ink where we don't want it. Okay. So we'll just press this on one of our cards here. Right in the center. Just give it a good press. Okay, we'll lift this up. Oops, did it get on there? And I've got some gold embossing powder. And I don't use like one of those little, I don't know what they call it, whatever tool. I just use a piece of paper that I have laying around. And I put it underneath the image that I'm going to emboss with, like this. And then we'll just sprinkle this on here. Make sure we rub it all around. Give it a good little tap. Take off any of those areas that are hanging out on the outside. You can use the static so that you don't get some of these extras, but I sometimes will just use a little brush, kind of brush off the excess areas of embossing powder that I don't want before I heat up. Okay, and before you heat set anything, it's a good idea to put this away so you don't heat set this embossing powder to this piece of paper. So we'll just use this and pour it. Pour it right back into the bottle. Okay. You guys don't even know how glad I am that that worked, because my eyes aren't working top notch right now, so it was kind of a gamble whether that was going to work. All right, today it's in my favor. We'll go for it. I'm just going to give this little mat here a little wipe so that we don't get any extra embossing, whatever. Then I'm going to use my embossing gun and we'll heat this. So excuse the noise, it's going to be a little loud for a second. I like to hold it up. Now this can get hot, and so some people will use their tweezers to hold it, which is a good idea if you're sensitive to heat or you know, just don't want to take any chances. So if that's you, you just hold it like this with your tweezers. I'm good to go. You also can actually burn your paper, or scorch it. So just be really careful if that's not the look that you're going for. Be aware and just really watch where that heat is going. You'll see it start to melt here. There it goes. And so the reason that's wet embossing is so cool is because it does give it like a raised edge in your image, and it makes it really easy for coloring if you do COPIC coloring, or again just adds that a little extra flair to your design, which I think is really neat. So I wanted to try one using green ink with holographic embossing powder, so we'll try that now and see how that goes. We'll do these two. First, I better clean that stamp. Where'd it go? There it is. I'm gonna stick this in a green ink. Probably not good. I'm just using a baby wipe. You can use a wet cloth or whatever. Some people I know use like a wet rag and then they just toss it in the washer. Good way to repurpose items. You have an old towel or an old piece of sock or something, t-shirt, whatever. You can make it into a little rag. Most of this ink really won't show through all that much anyways because we're going to emboss it. So we're going to use the same image Magic chalk ink pad. So we'll give this a go here. And again, I'm going to use green. This color is called Tea Leaves because it kind of reminds me of the Starbucks color. And I think it'd be really pretty with some holographic embossing powder. So this ink is kind of quicker to dry. So I'm going to stamp it once here and then pour some of this powder on right away because I don't know if it will dry too quickly. Don't worry about using too much of this embossing powder when you're putting on because you're going to dump it right off and it's just going to go right back in the jar. And a little jar like this will last for a really long time. I don't know how many, what does it say? This is 0.6 of an ounce and I've had it for years. So I guess, I mean, maybe if you're embossing like everything every single day, it might use up pretty quickly, but I've been able to do with it everything I wanted to do and I still have some left. Okay. Let's do this second one here. And when you're doing multiples of these images, I've already got that embossing powder out. I need to dump it off anyway, so I'm just going to dump it on here. Once I got a good clean stamped image, we'll just dump it right like this. And a little tap is good. I know some people go a little crazy trying to get everything off. You can kind of see how it's already clinging to the image there, so we'll just pour this off, give it a little flick. And again, we'll put this embossing powder away before we heat anything. Okay. Get this all good and closed up. I try a little wipe here because I did spill just a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to heat these ones. Now when you're heating this holographic one, it is a little harder to see than the gold. So you can kind of see the glitter. And you just have to really watch close for when it's done. So I can see, like, when I turn it, it looks like a hologram. So that's done and pretty cool. It'll just sparkle like that. Go ahead and do this other one. This one's done too. Maybe not the best time for me to be embossing because I can't see very good, but we're gonna go with it. Okay, and I have all kinds of stuff open here. Close it all up. Except for these two green ones, I'm just gonna give it a little bit of some inked edges. I like to ink the edges of everything. I think it really gives it a lot more definition. called Jumbo Java by Versamagic. Really great color. Let's do that on this one here. And while I have that color open, I think I'm going to do some of these coffee beans in the background here. So these artist trading cards, you can really make them anything that you want. I mean, you saw how quickly these ones are coming together. The fun of it is it's just, you know, this little sized project. You can use mixed media on them, you can paint on them, you can stamp, you can do collages or layers of cardstock, and just really make them your own and whatever you want them to be. And it's really fun to collect them and see what other people make them and get to you know, own a piece of somebody else's art, which is really great. Okay, I think I've opened and closed this ink like so many times, but that's okay. That's my process. All right, so one of the last things I have to do here is I made some die cuts using Tim Holtz's Freshly Brewed collection, and I was just going to put those together and see what they look like. So with Freshly Brewed, you get a cup, you get a dome lid, you get a little sleeve, you get the circle, which is like the center of the sleeve, you get a hot cup lid, and then they also do a straw, and you can cut these out in whatever colors that you want, so that's really cool. I've cut them out in a couple different colors, some pattern paper you can see, so I'm gonna, yep, here we go. I'm opening this ink again. I'm gonna go ahead and ink the edges of this cup. Just give it some good definition. I got a little crazy with my ink there, so we'll rip some of it off. Let's set this over here. Okay, so with my swap, I'm going to include a couple of these pieces for my partner to be able to put them together however she would like. But I do want to just build one so she can see what it's supposed to look like in case if she's not familiar with this die cut. So I think, guys, bear with me, these eyes of mine are not great. So the sleeve, you can just put it however you want to put it. We're gonna go like that. And then the circle goes in the center here. And I think I'm gonna put this little leaf punch out that I have because it's autumn time right now. And I think that would be really cute. And it's not overly pumpkin spice-esque, so I'm happy with that. And then maybe I'll go ahead and just use this one. So I'm gonna ink around the circle here just to give it a little bit of definition, and then we'll go ahead and glue it. And I think I'm gonna put this piece behind the one card in the little bag so that it just kind of looks like it's supposed to go there. I'm gonna do this other one too since I have to do two of them. And then whatever leftover pieces I usually send to my partner, so that way they can make their own, which is kind of fun. You get one and you can make one too. this is a little lighter handed with the ink this time, which I think is okay. And there's that second cup. And like I said, you can use any kind of pattern paper you want for these sleeves. I was even actually thinking about using some of this. I got a cardboard sleeve from Starbucks, and I was thinking about maybe cutting it out with this and just putting it on there. But maybe I'll save that idea for another project, because I really kind of like how this is coming together. So you can cut the circles out of different patterns too. It's kind of fun. All right. I think we're just gonna go like this for these ones though. And then, like I said, I got these little little leaves. Maybe do we want to do 2 or just 1? Let's see. Oh, actually, it's kind of cute with 2. Let's see. Do I have another one? These are floating around my desk from the last design team project that I did. Well, maybe I only have enough to do 1. I have these other little leaves. Maybe I could do like this on this one. Then they're similar, but a little bit different. Yeah, I think that's cute. Okay. Now we just glue it, and I'm going to use this Yoo-Hoo glue stick. You can use any glue that you want to use. I am pro glue stick always, but you can use the liquid glue. Liquid glue does give you sometimes these little bumps and lumps in your paper. Glue sticks, sometimes you don't get it all the way glued to the edge, so every glue has its pros and cons. Just have to do what you're most comfortable with, but I feel like that works pretty good for me. So we'll just go with it. I kind of set my piece on top of the glue stick and just kind of move it all around. That way I feel like I get the best coverage. You can lay it down and like brush like this too. So this piece, when you're gluing the lid on, if you're not putting it right onto a card or scrapbook page or journal or whatever, just glue this bottom piece, which is a little tricky because it wants to try to come apart. But that's the only piece that actually glues on to the cup. And you can also take a piece of tape and put it on the back here to keep it together. Okay. Glue this little dot. And this die cut also does come with a straw. You can make it into whatever color that you want, and there's a little notch like right there. That's a good spot for the straw to go, and then you can just cut off the bottom if it's too long here. But I think I'm going to leave the straw out just because it'll fit a little better for what I'm doing this time. So again, these little pieces, I really like glue sticks because I can just set it on there, rub it all around. I also sometimes use a Xyron to get everything else sticky. Makes like a little sticker out of it. But since this is just such a simple project, glue stick works great. So now my initial thought was to take this cup and actually glue it to the base of this card, of the trading card, but then I realized it just really covers up all of the fun embossing, so I'm just going to stick it in the back. in this bag with the rest of the cup here. And these, when you punch them out, they really stick together if you do multiples. So, and they are pretty fragile, the lids here, because it's got this center cut out to make it look more like the lid of a hot cup, which I think is awesome. Really great detail. You could take your cup here and just run your glue stick right along the edge. Give it a little extra glue. Don't want to get too crazy, but it does dry clear, so. All right, there's that one. And again, these dots you can make in other pattern papers and colors so that, you know, these could be, they can all look totally different, however you want them to look. All right. Stick these on here. And the best part about a glue stick is you can kind of move it around however you need to while it's still drying, so that's kind of great. Okay, so you can see got some cups, stamped image card, which is really cool, which is wet embossed and then the dry embossed, and I think it's going to go together just awesome. One other piece of artist trading cards is you want to sign the back so that they know who made it. And let's find a little marker here. Some people have a stamp that says artist trading card, who made it, and a little bit about the artist. Some people might put like their website or their email address or whatever. I like to just simply sign my name. Now when you're signing, make sure that you're going to use a marker that's not going to go through the back. So I'm just going to sign my name, and we'll put that it is the year 2020. And again, it didn't go through the back, so that's really great. Just put this. Sign on all of them. There's my lovely signature. All right, you guys, so there you have it. This is what one artist trading card looks like. This is another one. I really like this holographic embossing powder. And then a little added goodie and a decorated die cut. And I'm gonna put them all in this sweet little bag for my partner, mail them off. I hope you guys have enjoyed watching the coming together of this artist trading card and dry embossing and wet embossing and using some brads. If you have any questions or different ways that you emboss or use mini brads, please make sure you leave them in the comments down below, and hit that subscribe and like button and share this video if you feel like anybody else would enjoy seeing it or learn something from it as well. Thanks so much for watching, you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. As you can see, we have Fanta, my crafting buddy. Don't eat the Stickles. Life with cats. I always have to say weird things I never thought you'd say, like, don't eat the Stickles. But one really cute thing he likes to do, if I can find his little brush. he likes to rub his face on the bristles of the brush. He has his own little brush. Apparently he's taken off with it. Oh, no, it's right here. There we go. You want a stipple, buddy? Do you want a brushy? Oh, yeah. Brush your little face. Oh, yeah. Brushy, brushy. So, guys, this is life with cats in your craft room.